Hi. Thank you for tuning in and listening to my story. I wanted to share a little bit more about the details about what it was like when I had depression and anxiety and other physical illness and what worked for me and what didn't work for me and like every little detail because it is in the details. It is in the way that I made my choices that had me not heal and then had me heal. So I wanted to share a little bit more about that, also just to give you hope about what could be available for you as well if you resonate with my story and you're like, wow, I used to be exactly where she is. And look, she isn't there anymore. And so that must be possible for me too. So I had severe depression for about 5 years. And I went through a lot of different phases with my depression. The first year, I did not know what was happening to me. I didn't even know I had depression. I just noticed that I felt like I had less energy, less motivation, and just felt like down all the time. And I really didn't understand why. It was in my last year of university, so I thought that maybe it was because I was graduating and it felt like I didn't have like purpose in my life anymore, something that I was working towards. I already got what I thought I wanted. I was studying engineering, got my job as an engineer. So I thought, oh, like it's just because I'm not going to be like studying anymore. Because I used to be someone who was studying all the time. Like you couldn't pull me away from studying and get me to take a break. Like I just was always studying. And then when I started having depression, I would just be staring out the window, like didn't feel like studying, didn't feel like doing anything. And so I thought, oh, maybe that's why I don't care anymore because like I already have a job lined up and like school's over. And I had also started taking birth control. So I thought, oh, maybe it's like my hormones. And so I didn't really think anything of it and didn't, think I had depression or like anything was quote wrong. And so I just like ignored it for like an entire year. I felt very down, but didn't do anything about it and just thought it would pass. And then what had me actually start realizing that I had depression was the relationship that I was in at the time ended. And then I felt obviously a million times worse than I felt before because now I just lost someone that I loved. And I started to realize that he was my like conditional temporary joy and I no longer had that conditional temporary joy. So now I felt like no joy. And so I really felt depressed. And so that's when I went to my doctor because it was just so painful. And my doctor was like, yeah, you have depression. Let's put you on these antidepressants. Let's get you seeing a psychologist and a psychiatrist. So that's what I did because I didn't know anything else at the time. So I just, tried the conventional route. And I had a very unique experience where the medication had no effect on me, positive or negative. Like I had no side effects and it was as if I was taking nothing. And I didn't realize that at the time, but now, especially when I talk to people who have been on antidepressants, they're like, yeah, you feel so numb. Like it's like you don't feel anything. And that was not my experience at all. Like it felt like I wasn't taking anything, like nothing was changing. I still felt intense emotions, like nothing was different. And so they kept trying different medication. They're like, maybe this one will work for you. They put me on multiple medications at once. Sometimes I was on two at once, sometimes I was on three at once. Some were more for anxiety, some were more for depression. They're like, oh, let's try mixing them up. Let's try both. And I tried that for probably a year and nothing. Like it didn't make me feel different in any way, shape, or form. It literally was like I was taking a sugar pill. And also like seeing my psychiatrist and my psychologist, like they wanted me to use CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. That's like the most common form of therapy that they teach. And for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's kind of like changing your thoughts. Like if you're having like a really negative thought, like looking at it differently, like, oh, like this person, broke up with me, so they don't want me. And then shifting it to like, oh, well, they were never meant for me, or like that type of thing. So that's kind of what CBT is like shifting your thoughts. But I found that all that was doing for me was having me like bypass my emotions. Like I felt like shit. I felt unwanted. I felt shame and not good enough and all these things. And I was just putting ice cream on top of poop and being like, oh, well, it's their problem. Like if they don't want me, it's their problem. Instead of like letting myself feel that they are triggering the part in me that feels like unwanted and abandoned and all these types of things. And this part of me needs to be met. And that was not happening with CBT. And my psychiatrist was actually making me feel really bad, like something was wrong with me, that this wasn't working for me. He's like, all you got to do is take your medication and do CBT and you'll be fine. And I'm like, well, I've been doing that and it's not working. And so I started trying like a bunch of other things because there was a point where I was really desperate to heal. Before I got to that point, though, I went through like a whole phase of just distracting from my pain. Like I had no interest in healing at all. Like I had my boyfriend, I had that temporary joy, so I had no interest in healing. But when I no longer had him and I no longer had that temporary joy, I was like desperate to heal. Like I was like, this is so painful. And that's what had me actually want to try to heal. And that's when I started trying unconventional things as well, because the conventional things weren't working for me. So you name it, I've probably tried it. I was trying acupuncture, hypnosis, EFT. I would Google how to heal from depression. I would go to the second and third pages of Google, which pretty much nobody does, willing to try literally everything, even if it wasn't like known to help depression. Like I was even going to try like what's it called? Cryotherapy, like where you're in like the liquid nitrogen tank, because that can help like boost your mood, boost your energy. Like literally, I was willing to try anything. And so I did try unconventional things for a long time, and I was trying a lot of things at the same time because I was so desperate to heal. And that was like really adding up. Like, if you see like when I was seeing my hypnotherapist, what that's $200 a session, I would see them every week. It's like $800 a month. And then I'm also doing the acupuncture. So it would be like a couple $1,000s a month when I'm trying multiple things at once. And I was spending a lot of money trying to heal and trying like a bunch of different modalities, and still nothing was working for me. So then I went through a phase where I kind of like gave up because I was like, I literally think I've tried everything. Like literally Googled, went to second and third pages, tried everything. Like I didn't think there was anything out there that I didn't try. There probably was things out there that I had just never heard of, but in my mind, I'm like, I've literally tried everything and I've spent so much money and nothing is working. I just don't think I can heal from this. So then I was like, I guess my only option, well, that's when I started like going down like more of the suicide route because I was like, I can't live like this anymore. So I seriously considered ending my life. And I had suicidal thoughts all the time, but there was only like a few times where I actually was like seriously going to act on it. And there was one time in particular that I was like 100% going to do it. And I knew I was 100% going to do it because I didn't tell anyone. And if I was doing it just to get love and attention, I would have told someone. This time I knew I'm doing it for real. Otherwise, I would have told my boyfriend at the time and I didn't tell him. And so I had a plan on exactly how I was going to do it. And then right before I was going to do it, I Googled just to see like what is actually going to happen when I do this. And I realized that like it probably wasn't going to work. And if anything, it would probably just like injure me, and it wasn't like a foolproof painless way. And so I started Googling foolproof painless ways to kill yourself, which is really sad that I ever did that, but that's the state that I was in. And because in that moment I couldn't find a foolproof painless way to end my life with the things I had around in my house, I didn't go through with it in that moment. And then later on, when I would think about suicide, I would realize like, I don't know what happens after. Like, is it actually guaranteed that I'm going to feel more peace after I commit suicide? Because like at the time, didn't really have like beliefs on like what happens after you die. And so I was just like, how do I know for sure that I'm going to feel peace? Like, what if I just come back and have another life, and that life is like worse than this life. And I actually have a lot of amazing things in this life. And so that was partly what stopped me because I was like, how do I actually know I'm going to feel more peace after this? I don't know that for sure. And I was scared of feeling physical pain and causing more pain to my family as well. So those were the things that stopped me from doing it. So now I was at a point in my life where I'm like, okay, nothing works. I've tried everything to heal, and I've realized I'm not going to end my life. So my only option is just distract from my pain. So then I took a job in the field as I was working as an engineer at the time. And so I took this job because I heard that when you're like working in the field, living in a camp, you work like 12 to 16-hour days and you like work with each other and you also live with each other in the camp. You eat with each other, you do everything together. So you're like never alone and you're constantly busy. And I was like, okay, I need a drastic change in my life and I do not want to feel this pain anymore. I want to be distracted all the time. I want to be as alone for as little as possible. So that's why I took the job. And so I went to the field, took this job, and there was a key moment here that helped me heal. I had stopped trying to heal. I was like, nothing works. So I stopped trying. I wasn't doing acupuncture, I wasn't doing hypnosis. I wasn't looking for modalities. I wasn't doing anything to heal anymore. And because of that, there was a softening. There was a surrendering. I had released this desperation to heal, and I finally like softened a little bit. And that even 2% softening and surrender opened up so much for me, where I synchronistically found my mentor and mind body medicine, which is like what I do now. And when I heard her speak on this summit, like something lit up inside me and was like, I got to work with her. Whereas if you had asked me the day before, I was like, I'm not spending another penny on any sort of modality. Nothing works. I've spent thousands of dollars. I'm done. But when I heard her speak, it was like something lit up inside me. My body was like, this is a hell yes. And so I signed up. I did one of her DIY programs and I healed from depression just by doing her DIY program before, like do it yourself program, before I even worked with her privately. And there's something really key in this moment. It's the fact that I surrendered that opened up a possibility that my body actually needed. Before that, I was just trying anything and everything, and I wasn't listening to my body on what it needed. I was just trying a bunch of things, hoping something stuck. And this was the first time that I actually listened to my body. I'm like, wow, this resonates with me. And then I started to see that, wow, when I listen to what my body is asking for, I get exactly what I need and I heal right away. And so I started becoming like really interested to learn like what is it about mind body medicine that helped me heal when nothing else worked. And so then I just became really passionate about learning about it and trying to heal other things about myself. And like I ended up healing so many things about myself without even trying. I also had anxiety pretty much my whole life, and I definitely had like social anxiety. Like I had this thing where like I could only hang out with people in groups of threes because like if I'm one-on-one with someone, then I felt like I had to entertain. And in big groups, I would get really quiet. But there was something about when there was a group of three that I'm like, oh, I can relax and I don't have to like entertain and I could just like be myself. And so I would try to control my environment so that I didn't feel my anxiety. So if like someone wanted to go one-on-one for dinner with me that I wasn't comfortable with, I would cancel my plans with them and try to, make a plan that made me feel more comfortable where like a third person would be there, or maybe we are doing an activity together, like I would really try to control my environment so that I didn't feel anxious. And the anxiety completely went away just by me trying to heal from depression. Because when I was trying to heal from depression, I was welcoming all of my emotions. And by doing that, I ended up healing all these other things in my body, anxiety and physical illness as well. Like I had acid reflux. I took medication for it every day. And then randomly one day, I didn't need the medication anymore. Like I had forgot to take the medication. And I realized that I was totally fine. And I realized I didn't need it anymore. And I had bladder issues. Those are so much better. And like every day I notice like a new thing that has healed. Like I used to have like major shin splints and like cramps in my legs and my feet. I don't get that anymore. I have like way better stamina. Like I'm a dancer, I'm a Bollywood dancer. And I used to like after I would perform, my throat like would feel like I was gonna cough up blood. Like it would be so dry. And I would feel terrible after I would perform. And now I don't feel that way. And I actually recently performed like for a halftime show, and the week before the halftime show, my entire team was in so much pain. Their body was hurting that they were like, I can't even practice. And I was not in any pain at all. But when I think back to past dance competitions I've done, the week before the competition, my body was in pain, like just as much pain as they were in. And just like little things I've noticed that my body is like so much stronger, so much more resilient, so much healthier. I make like way healthier choices naturally now. I like crave healthy foods, whereas before, every single meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner was fast food before. And now if I eat fast food, I feel sick and my body's like, I do not want this. Like there's so many things that have changed in my life just by me trying to heal from depression and by using mind body medicine. And so I hope that gives you some hope about what could be possible for you if you've been trying everything to heal and nothing's working for you, trying a million things, hoping that something sticks. If you've been in a state where you felt like nothing works, if you've like contemplated suicide, if you've felt hopeless and like I don't think I can heal from this and all I can do is just manage and distract. I just want you to know that like you 100% can heal, and that's actually what your body is trying to do. It's actually trying to help you and give you guidance on what you need. And like learning to listen to your body's wisdom is super key. And yeah, there's just so many things that I wish that I knew back then. And like that's why I do what I do now to help other people so they don't have to suffer for as long as I did. And so I just hope that this story gives you some hope that you can heal as well. And so much more is available for you. And when you honor your body and listen to it and follow what feels right, that is going to lead to you receiving exactly what you need. So thank you so much for listening to my story. And I hope that it felt inspiring for you. And I'm sending you so much love for no matter where you're at in your journey and what you're going through. I've been there, I know what it feels like. And so I'm sending you so much love. And I hope you know that someone understands you and really believes that you can heal this. So, sending you so much love.